Oh, they're just, God bless the current state of the NFL and all of these quarterback trades that go down. In a shocking move, Pete Carroll reunites with Geno Smith, who is a reclamation project himself, goes to the Las Vegas Raiders for a 2025 third-round pick. Smith's got 1 year, $31 million left on his contract. The Seahawks are taking it all in. I am doing this video from my brother-in-law's bar and grill, the Halfway Inn in Olean, New York. And he's letting me do this as long as I claim that I didn't take any alcohol from the bar. So Geno had been trying to work out a deal with the Seahawks who had committed their undying devotion and love to him at the end of the season, figured, okay, we're not getting anywhere on an extension. Let's just cut ties right now. Pete Carroll, who once said that Geno Smith was one of his all-time favorite players, gets a quarterback who was awesome in 2022 when he was the comeback player of the year. Last couple of years have been a little bit different, but he's also been playing behind a haphazard offensive line with no rushing attack. He got sacked the third most times in the NFL last year, but had a over 70% completion percentage, threw 21 touchdowns, but he also threw 15 interceptions. Do the Raiders redo his deal? We'll find out in the ensuing days, I'm sure. But by far, immediately, the first thing you think of this is, oh, okay, this is going to be Geno Smith with Chip Kelly. And round about the last time that Chip Kelly was still coaching in the NFL, he'd lost his luster from his early days of glory with the Eagles. And Geno Smith wasn't the same guy he's been the last few years, where on the sum total of it all, if you take all 3 years together, he's been about an average NFL quarterback. But you know that ceiling is what he did in 2022. But of course, Chip Kelly is coming off being the offensive coordinator on a national championship Ohio State team where he did something that was kind of against the narrative or the history of what Chip Kelly does. He slowed down his tempo. And when Chip Kelly came into the NFL, he took the league by storm. Teams were not ready for how up-tempo he was. But we saw what happened. The league caught up to it a little bit, but also Chip Kelly realized that, man, when you run up-tempo all the time in the NFL, your defenses tend to wear out. So when you lose that ambush element and your defense is dragging their asses by the end of the season, he learned there's a difference between what you can do in the NFL and in college. And this last year, he demonstrated that he can mix it up a lot offensively when it comes to what kind of tempo are you running. The Raiders have Brock Bowers at tight end. That's a bright and shining spot. Jacoby Myers is all right, but a true number one is certainly in play. That's the other interesting dynamic here. The Raiders had been linked to DK Metcalf, and DK Metcalf wanted out of Seattle, wants a new contract. Whatever team gets DK Metcalf is going to give up buku draft picks as well. But I don't know how happy DK Metcalf was with Geno Smith and blamed him as the source of some of the stagnancy. Or maybe he'd be cool with being reunited. And I know your first tendency sometimes is say, well, it's a trade. It's not his decision. Teams don't want to trade for a guy who doesn't want to be there, especially if it comes with a $30 million per year price tag. But that could take a long time to play out. Remember Brandon Ayuk last year? That went right up till the regular season. So if they want to make a big splash, obviously Chris Godwin is the guy out there. And I'm not putting anything past the Raiders. They operate in a different sphere now. They're in the city of the sphere. And they got all this spending cash laying around the way Mark Davis never had in his life before. So I'm excited to watch this unfold. I've got a soft spot in my heart for Pete Carroll because he operates a different way. There's a part of me that wanted to see what conspiracy theorist Pete Carroll could do when he hooked up with conspiracy theorist Aaron Rodgers. I'm not sold on Sam Darnold. I think this is a smart move by the Raiders for a team that wants to win now. They're not interested in a long and painful reset. I mean, Pete Carroll's young for his age, but he's still 73 years old. So I'm expecting some more big and aggressive moves out of the Raiders in the ensuing weeks. I'm Seth Payne, played in the NFL for 10 years. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Do it now. Subscribe. And if you're ever an hour and a half south of Buffalo and Olean, New York, go to the Halfway Inn, or at the very least, if you never intend to come to this part of the country, I'll leave a nice review on Yelp or something.